Win podcast. Your boy Goso 2.0, the copy got himself. And today we're talking about the risk growth bucket. So last episode was about the security, peace of mind bucket. And this episode is about your risk growth bucket. So we're going to get into that stuff. I already explained what that one is. I'm going to explain this one a little bit more. But before we do that, we'd like to do some housekeeping things. Please subscribe to this Winners Win channel. Like this video, share, comment below, which I'll tell you call to action at the end to comment with the comment. If you listen to this on any type of podcast platform, give a 5-star review. And of course, leave some type of review so I can figure out how I can better serve you. Before I like to do that, I like to dive into pretty much my spill, what's going on. Today is the first day. Well, first of all, if you listen to the last episode, you listen to the first episode of the new year of 2023. It's just amazing to me that I actually stood consistent. So today, as I talked to you about my last episode, I was actually interviewed by Dead America Podcast. So if you have not listened to that podcast, definitely check it out. But I was interviewed by them. And when I was interviewed by them, we were talking about the idea of, consistency and how important it is. He was like, I never seen somebody post so much content, put so much content out there. And I was thinking, you're right. I have not seen that many people put so much content out there. But this is what I could tell you, though. I probably have less episodes than a lot of people, but I have a lot of stuff to say and I have a lot of content I'm bringing out there because I'm bringing more value to you. And that's what he was so hyped about. He said he knew I had a bright future because it was consistency was the most important thing. Just being consistent, doing the same thing every single day. Now, that's what I was talking about that separates successful people or extraordinary people from the ordinary person or the average person is the idea that they're able to do the same thing every single day with the snowball effect and get way further as they get through life. So that was actually very exciting to me to actually get a chance to talk about that. Because it's true, right? My fault. It doesn't take you reading, I said I'm going to read 2 books, I said I'm going to read 100 books a year, right? It did not take me 100 books a year. It does not take me literally reading, what I'm trying to say. It doesn't take me reading a whole book in one day. Nah. For some books, like my one book, right, it takes me to read 10 pages a day. I'll be done by the end of the week. And I actually made it out for 5 days, just in case 2 days something happened. My other book, it only takes 90 pages a day, which is probably an hour and a half to 2 hours of reading, if I really want to be honest. If I really stuck down and just been consistent with it and taking my notes and stuff, that will be it. And then by the end of it, you look at 2 books a week, 8 books a month. By the end of it, you're looking at almost 100 books a year. That's actually insane that it really is like that. But that's what's awesome about it, though, right? Is the idea that you can literally just read so many books in 1 month. It's just crazy like that. There's so much things you look at it back then and you're like, wow, that's a big goal. But then you break it down and you do a little bit each day. And it's like, wow, by the time at the end of the month, it looks amazing. I talked to you guys about that with the push-ups. I did 100 push-ups every single day, except for, a couple, whatever. But I did 3,000 push-ups in the month of December. And this month, I'm going for 4,500 reps of core. Already feel the differences in my body, see the differences in my body. Without any weight lifting or weight training, I'm just able to get myself stronger. It's just consistency. That's all it takes. And when you put in that work, you put in that consistency, it eventually gets to it. And that's what Kobe was talking about with the idea of pressure, right? He was talking about how he was like, he's not scared when he get out there. He feels no pressure because all it is him doing the same thing he's already done 1,000,000 times, but now just doing it in the game. That's how you get over that stuff. You continue to do the same thing over and over again, so then when it gets to that part, it's like, bro, there's nothing to even talk about because I've already done this so many times before. And that consistency definitely adds up, as it will add up for me as well, and add up for you, because it's the first day of the month now. So right now is when you start the consistency, you start doing little things. You know what I mean? Are you going to spend 5 minutes trying to learn a new language a day? Are you going to knock out your 100 push-ups, 100 core, which I upped it to 150? Are you going to continue to post your YouTube video or your 2 YouTube videos a day? You know what I mean? All this stuff adds up. 1 YouTube video a day ends up being 365 episodes at the end. 2 a day ends up being 600 or something. Come on now. It's definitely doable if you just look at the idea of compound interest. But that idea is also going to help us with this when we're talking about the risk growth bucket. Now the risk growth bucket is the bucket that you want to put your money or like your assets in order to, has a high risk. Now there's a reason why it's not called growth risk bucket and it's called risk growth. Risk growth because risk is guaranteed. There's a guarantee that you are either going to lose something or you may gain something. That is guaranteed 100%. But what's not guaranteed is growth. So it's almost like the odds are stacked against you in this bucket. It's like you can lose or you can win. But if you lose it all. And you can lose it in a quick standpoint. So when you put your money in here, you have to kind of use this this rule. They said it's called the crude method. You do the year 100 minus your age, and that's what you should be in your risk growth, because you'll be closer to 100, you know what I mean, or further away from it. And the rest is security. So I'm, 25 years old. So if I do 100 minus 25, that's 75. 75% of my income, or not my income, my 75% of my, portfolio should be in risk growth management or risk growth bucket. 25% in that security one, because I'm younger, so I can make that money back up. But anyway, the 7 main asset classes for risk growth bucket, right? Number 1 is equity. Now, equities are stocks, which, stocks, I'm not really a big stock trader, but that Warren Buffett type of the time. Ownership shares. So, you have a percentage in a company, which kind of reminds me of Shark Tank, where they'll say, I'll give you $1 million and 25% of your company I need, right? You can have ownership shares in other companies and put a certain amount of money in there and then get a percentage of that company out. In mutual funds and ETFs, which ETFs are like those smaller stocks where people do day trading and stuff. Now, stocks, obviously, because a company could go down. Same thing, ownership shares, the company could go down. ETFs, all company can go down, right? Number 2 is the high yield bonds. These are your junk bonds. Your junk bonds are corporate. So a business needs money, so then they put out bonds, and then you pay money in order to help them with their stuff, but it's also your bond, which usually goes with inflation that we talked about. Then there's municipal, which type of junk bond, which is really like the state or country or city needs money for a project, and then they put bonds out there, and you could put your money into these bonds. These are also high risk. 3 is real estate. Now, real estate as in renting properties out to people, flipping homes, whatever you want to talk about, getting into nursing homes, which apparently owning nursing homes is a big thing. With this one, it's important because, tomorrow someone could lose their job. With COVID, people start losing their jobs. And when they start losing their jobs, they were like, I don't have money to pay rent. And then now you have to pay rent. So that's high risk. You can end up losing your house like that. 4th is commodities. This is gold, silver, oil, coffee, all these things that are basically irreplaceable minerals for us or for the country. So that's basically what that is. 5 is currencies. So you can put your, money in the currency game. 6 is collectibles, cars, watches, whatever is collectible. 7th is structured notes. Now, structured notes is in both of them because the risk of structured notes can change depending upon the return and then the amount of risk that you have associated with that actual structured note. So that's why it's in both of them, because you can either have one that's more security or risk because there's less risk, so it puts it in a security peace of mind bucket, or it can have more risk with a greater return, and it could be in your risk growth bucket. So that's really all I have for you guys today. Comment below which risk growth buckets, risk growth assets that you have in your portfolio. And then again, like I said, I want you guys to subscribe to this channel, like this video, share, whatever. Keep killing day. Remember, you pray for success like this. 2.0 out.